Hello guys, I just wanted to get on here and do a video for you. Me and my husband just had a surgery. It's called 3D lapiplasty and it's a bunion correction surgery. For those of you who do not know what that is, you can Google it. The 3D lapiplasty is just like the newest way to do the bunion correction surgery versus the old way that they used to do it. And so I just wanted to be another face on YouTube to kind of go over some of the recovery process, because I know when my husband had his surgery about 9 weeks ago, he was looking and he didn't really find many, videos over the recovery process and just how it goes. So this is all kind of new to us and our family, but my husband got his done, I got mine done, and then we are hopefully going to get the other 2 feet done just later this year. But it's something that we really wanted to do. So I'll just start by saying I had my surgery about 10 days ago. And for starters, me and my husband both got, it's called Exparel, and it's a time-releasing lidocaine that basically keeps your leg numb from the knee down. And it's supposed to last about 3 days. Everybody's a little bit different on how long it lasts. For my husband, he had like the full 3 days. His was numb. He wasn't able to move his toes for a few days, which was kind of like the hardest mental battle that I think he went through with that. For me, I cannot say that mine actually worked. I was able to move my toes and my ankle after about day 1, so mine only lasted maybe a full 24 hours. The doctor said that it just didn't work on me for whatever reason, and I guess I have a different biology, so that was kind of a bummer. I was really expecting for it to last and to not be in pain. But I will say the pain wasn't so bad. For the first 3 days, I just took maybe 1 dose of hydrocodone a day, and it really subsided my pain. So I didn't have a whole lot of excess pain. I just kept my foot elevated in bed, really for the first full week, I would say, just kind of relaxing. I would ice it here and there, but not excessively. I did have my bunion corrected, and then I also had my bunionette corrected. So your bunion is on your big toe, and then your bunionette is on your pinky toe. So I have both sides of my foot that are, have incisions on them. I did get a blood blister around my incision. My doctor said it was probably just from the I guess it's like the liquid that they put down to cover the incision with the tape. And he said he thinks it's just a reaction from that. So I did have that battle to go through, which I felt like was probably the hardest part for me, because when I would put my foot down, all the blood would flow to my blood blisters and it would just swell up with blood, and I would have to pop it because the pressure was so much that it was really uncomfortable for me. And that was probably the hardest part, I will say, versus the pain. The pain really was not that bad for me. So overall, it'd been a really good experience. I will say I had my left foot done because that was my worst. My husband had his right foot done because that was his worst bunion. His was a different animal because he could not drive. I was able to drive myself to all the post-ops and everything because it was my left foot. So I would kind of just prop my foot up in the car and drive. So that way the blood flow wouldn't just like flow down to my foot as I was driving. But because his was his right foot, he could not drive. He, at his 2 weeks, when he got into his boot, he got a driving shoe as well, so that way he could drive to work. But for me, I didn't have to worry about that until the next one. When I get my right one done, probably towards the end of the year, I will have to go through that too. So getting the left one done first was a huge plus. It didn't make it as difficult for me. I will say having a supportive husband who takes care of all 3 kids, cleans the house, goes to work, cooks, has helped me a lot. So if you don't have a big support system, it's obviously a lot harder. But because my husband is amazing, I was able to really go through this very easily. But I will say after about day 7, I started having more pain. And I think the reason is my doctor told me I could take off the tape that was covering my incision because of the blood blisters. He said I could just wash it and pat it dry and put some gauze over it. I did that, and then I guess after opening my incision or exposing it to the air, it became almost like a scab. It was starting to try and harden. And so I felt like the blood blisters healing too. It was almost like my skin was being pulled and it was very tight and uncomfortable. And that feeling lasted probably like 2 to 3 days and it didn't go away. And so icing it helped, just because when you ice it, it kind of numbs your foot and it takes that pain away. It's just very soothing. But pain meds, like even taking hydrocodone, did not take away the uncomfortable feeling of like my foot being pulled. So for me, I would say that was the hardest part, was after like day 7. And then of course, mentally, I think it becomes hard, like for the first week when you are on pain meds and all of your days kind of like run together. After about day 7, you're really starting to get kind of like cabin fever. You can't walk, crutches are the worst, and I'm clumsy as it is, so it's just a bad combination. And I was just really getting like a lot of mental roadblocks as far as just wanting to be able to do something. I just feel lazy and unhealthy, and I'm just sitting around all day, and that's just not who I am as a person. So it was very difficult for me to just sit there. So I'm 3 or 4 days out from getting my boot, which is actually on Thursday morning, so it's 3 days. And I'm really excited for that because I know it's just going to be a new chapter for this. So I will do probably an updated video on that just once I get in my boot. But for anybody who is, looking into getting bunion correction surgery, I will say it is so worth it. Like, it is going to change my life, and it's not something that I'm ever going to have to worry about again. And it was actually, mine was pretty severe. I would say it was like moderate to severe. And it was so bad that it was actually causing me to have some like ankle pain when I would run. It was causing my foot, I guess because I'm running on the outside of my foot versus the way that I should be running on my foot. So it was starting to cause me to have like outer ankle pain. And that was actually causing me, and some knee discomfort. Like I was actually getting like runner's knee. And my doctor did say that could have been just because I'm running on my foot differently, because my bunion has gotten so bad. So I'm just really hoping that in the end, this is all worth it, and that it's just going to be a life-changing thing for me. So I would truly recommend it to anybody who wants to get it done. Just make sure, obviously, that you do your research, that you find a doctor that you feel confident with, and trust in making sure that they're doing, the most up-to-date procedure. We were in crutches for 2 weeks, and then we got in a walking boot, and we will be in walking boots for about 6 weeks. And then after that, you can kind of like slowly go into your regular shoe, and start light activity until your doctor kind of clears you. When you're completely, your bone is completely fused back together, then I believe that you can start, running and doing normal activities again. But overall, if you can make it to the 2-week mark and get into your boot, like, you will not regret this surgery. I know I have not. I know my husband has not. And everybody that we've spoken to who has had the surgery done, they do not regret having it done. They said their only regret is that they did not get their second foot done. So most of the people that we've seen, they've only gotten one bunion done. And I think it's so critical that if you're going to go through it, you might as well just go ahead and get the second one done, because at the end of the day, you're only just helping yourself. So if you guys have any questions about the procedure, about the recovery process, please just go ahead and comment below, and I will be happy to answer any questions that you guys have.